What you doing, Eli?
Finishing up a letter.
To who?
To the artist on the outside.
Artist on the outside?
You know, the guy who created us.
Wait a minute. You can write to him?
Sure. How do you think we got our wingboards?
Really? Well, what are you asking for this time? Wings?
Shh. It's kind of a secret, Kira.
Eli, wings aren't something you can ask for. They're something you earn.
I know, Kira, but I just want to take them out for a test flight.
And you think he'll do this for you, huh?
Why not? I'm sure he's a real nice guy.
Must have quite a sense of humor, too.
What, you think?
Well, he made you, didn't he?
Very funny, Kira. Thanks, Muriel.
Thanks, Eli. Thanks, Kira. Welcome to Drawing with Dan. Today I'm going to show you how to draw an angel. So get out a pencil and some paper. Any kind of lined paper will work. What I'm going to show you is some basic drawing techniques so that you can draw a cool superhero. To get started, take out your lined notebook paper. We'll number it on the lines from 1 down through 20. So to begin with, what we're going to do is we're going to use really light strokes to draw our guidelines, and then on top of those guidelines we're going to draw our more defined strokes, which are going to give us our armored angel. But to begin with, I'm going to draw a straight line down through sort of the center of the page, but that's going to serve as my midline so that my character is symmetrical on both sides. You can use any kind of straight edge, or you can freehand a straight line if you feel comfortable. So here, once we have the midline drawn, I'm going to start with the chest area, and here it's going to be a series of oval-shaped guidelines. To start with, we're going to draw between lines 3 and line 6. We're going to draw as round a circle as we possibly can. Doesn't have to be perfect, just some good loose light strokes. Out from there, between lines 3 and 5, we're going to draw another circle, and these are going to be the shoulders. Again, real light strokes, as round as I can get them. Now, down his arm, I want a guideline so that I can draw the rest of my circles and ovals. I'm going to try and shoot this at an angle through the center of each of his shoulder circles, and if his arms are too straight up and down, he's going to look stiff. If they're out too wide, it's going to look like he's flapping his arms or something. And so we're going to just do him at a very, very slight angle outwards so that he looks like he's ready for battle. Now down his arm, I'm going to draw an oval between lines 5 and 7. Actually, about 6.5. 6.5 here is where I want my oval to stop, and up here is where I want my oval to start at a little above line 5. So I'm going to draw an oval, and it's skinnier than the shoulder, but that's the way it's supposed to be because he's got really large shoulder pads as part of his armor. Now from there, between lines 8 and where we finished our oval is where I want to draw another full round circle. Once that circle is in on each side, I'm going to draw a small circle between lines 8 and 9 for the wrists, and a slightly larger circle, but roughly between lines 9 and 10 for his hands, which are going to be clenched fists, so circles will be good guides for now. Now I don't want this circle to be cut by this line. I want this circle barely touching the line, slightly in, so it looks like his fists are really clenched and his wrists are slightly turned in. So once those circles are drawn, we've got 2 arms, shoulders, and his chest. Now let's continue down his midsection. Let's draw an oval from line 6 to line 8. And for his hips, let's draw a circle from line 8 to about halfway between line 9 and 10. So here's a circle. Should be a little bit wider than his waist. And just like we did for the arms, we're going to draw guidelines for the legs. And same thing, we want his legs to be slightly turned out so he's got a good stance. He looks like he's ready for battle again. So let's give him some guidelines for legs, slightly turned out. And try and make sure that your angles are the same on both sides. They don't have to be exactly right, but it helps to get them as close as possible. Now his feet are just going to start as circles between lines 17 and 19. They're going to be cut through by your guideline. This is going to be the start of our foot. About half a circle will look about right. Now let's go to the knees. Between lines 12 and 13, draw a small circle cut by your guideline. About halfway in between 12 and 13 and almost all the way down to 14, let's draw a larger circle. Slightly larger. Now these 2 intersecting circles are going to end up becoming our egg-shaped knee pad. Let's go from that same midpoint between 12 and 13 all the way up to the hips. So we're going to draw the thigh at 9, line 9. So let's draw our thighs. These are just our guidelines. Now all we've got to do is to connect all the way down to the feet. So between lines 16 and 17, we're going to draw another circle for the ankles. In between lines 15 and halfway between 13 and 14, we're going to draw guides for his calves. These circles will be cut by our leg guidelines. And these circles will be larger than the knee pads, larger than the ankles, obviously. And so in between, let's just draw another circle to connect. Lines 15 and 16. We've got our legs. Now all that's left is our head. Now here, it may seem like I'm drawing the head kind of small, but that's going to help with the effect of making him look really powerful, making his body look stronger and longer. And that's a characteristic of our angels. It helps them look kind of cartoony, but that's the way superheroes are. If it looked like a normal guy, he wouldn't look very dramatic. So now that we've got all our guide circles, we're ready to start laying in our darker lines. So now I've got a darker black pen that I'm going to use over these lighter guide circles and guide lines to create your angel armor. Every angel has, as part of their armor trademark, a pretty high collar. Here on line 3, I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line across, not quite all the way out to the shoulders. From there, I'm going to go down towards the shoulders, and then I'm going to find the midpoint between lines 3 and 4 in the chest. I'm going to put a dot there, and I'm going to go ahead and aim for where I finish those other lines. And this is what our angel armor looks like from the front. Now for the shoulder pads, we're going to use the bottom half of the circles that we've drawn as our guides and go ahead and just trace them. But from there, I'm going to go ahead and push a diagonal line out all the way up to line 3. And on the inside, I'm going to do pretty much the same, maybe not quite so steep an angle, so that it looks sort of like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line across. And that's how we've done our shoulder pad. Now, right about where our bicep, our upper arm, is meeting the shoulder, I'm going to find a point at about line 5 where our half circle ended down here for the shoulder pad. I'm going to draw a straight line down to line 6 on both sides. And where our torso is, I'm going to go to line 7, and I'm just going to trace that upper part of our oval. And from there, I'm going to draw more or less a straight line out to meet this other line that we just drew at line 6. So now we've got our chest armor. Now, we're not really going to trace every circle. Not every circle or oval is going to be exactly the way we want it. But for the most part, it's going to give us roughly the shape we want. But for the arm, I don't want this upper arm to just be pinched in where it meets this other circle. I want it to sort of ease in. So I'm going to not quite go all the way around. I'm just sort of going to ease it on out, and then I'm going to follow this oval, and then on the inside I'm going to do the same thing. Now every angel has on its arms a big gauntlet. His forearms look almost bigger than his upper arms, and that's a lot because of this heavy armor they have, which they use to block attacks from bad guys and various things. I'm going to go ahead and split this gauntlet down the middle and follow this guideline we drew to about halfway between lines 9 and 10 on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and follow that line. Now from there, just draw a tiny little line out about the same length as the distance between where this corner is and line 9. See what I've got here? And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Now I'm going to go all the way up to line 6, and I'm going to draw another line about that same length on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and darken that in. And here we've got the upper part of our gauntlet. Now let's go ahead and do the fist before we finish the other part of the gauntlet, the forearm. We're going to do a pretty simple little fist. Go ahead and darken in the circle all the way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw, touching this circle that we've got here, I'm going to do another little circle. That's going to, I guess it's going to be sort of oval. It's going to represent the thumb folded in on a fist. And then I'm just going to do a little diagonal line, not halfway through, closer to the inside portion. That's going to look kind of like the fingers curled in. And you're going to see as we finish it out, that's going to look like a fist, more or less. the same thing that we did here on the outside, we're going to sort of do on the inside, but it's not going to be quite so wide of an arc. In fact, I'm just going to sort of follow from the fist up, and then I'm going to follow this bulge, pretty much trace it, and go into the forearm, or into the upper arm rather. So now let's continue down back into the midsection. In the midsection, I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line down from this corner, which is line 7, to about halfway between 7 and 8. And then I'm going to draw kind of out at an angle from there all the way down to line 8. Now wherever I hit line 8, I'm going to draw a straight line across, and this is going to be our guardian angel's belt. Now for the pants, what I'm going to do is go down to line 11, and I'm going to pick a point slightly outside of our oval that was drawn earlier. And that's what I'm basically going to aim for when I come down from the waist. But at the waist, I'm going to draw a couple little very, very small squiggles and points, which I'm going to turn into wrinkles later. And from there, I'm going to aim a straight line down to this point that I've designated, and then I'm going to come back down to where our kneecap is going to start at line 12. Our kneecap is going to be made up of these two circles, one slightly larger than the other, which is going to give us sort of an egg shape. And I'm going to draw a dark line for the top edge, and then I'm going to draw a dark line for the bottom edge of the larger circle, and then I'm going to connect them, and that's going to give me more of an egg shape than just a pure circle or a pure oval. Now, let's scoot on down to the feet. We're going to cut these circles in half to give us the bottom of our feet. So, in this circle that we've designated for the foot, at line 18, I'm just going to draw straight across, and then I'm going to trace the upper part of the circle to give us the top of our shoe. Now every angel has a foot guard over the front of their foot, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw tiny little lines going out from the top of the shoe, and then we're just going to draw an arc that follows the same stroke as the circle we had below over here. Also on the bottom, let's go about halfway between 18 and 19 and draw a parallel line to the bottom of our foot so that our angel's feet don't hurt too much when they land. They're always jumping around and fighting and flying. So let's draw some soles on the bottom of their feet. At line 14, I'm going to draw pretty much a straight line across, except I want it to be more perpendicular to this line, because that's how his boot is. It's sort of out at an angle. So it's not going to be quite following the lined ruled paper. It's going to be slightly at an angle pointing in and down. And then I'm going to just go up, not necessarily following the circle, sort of going up to make a rectangle. Now, I'm going to do sort of what I did here with the forearm, and I'm going to follow the guide curves that we have, but I'm never going to go in and pinch. So let's follow these curves, and I'm primarily concerned with the ankles and the calves. We're definitely going to touch every one of the guide circles, but we're not necessarily going to follow every curve. We're most concerned with the bulge for the calves and the smaller bulge for the little knot around your ankles. Now we'll go ahead and finish the rest of the pants. I'm going to draw maybe another dart here on the inside, and then I'm going to follow this curve on up to about line 10, and now onto the head. I'm going to go ahead and darken in this oval, and I'm going to draw Michael with his helmet on. Halfway between lines 2 and 3, let's draw a dot, and then draw more or less a circle. It's kind of an oval, I guess it can be more or less a circle. From there, halfway between lines 2 and 3, again, I'm going to make another little dot, and then I'm just going to sort of cut down like that. So these are sort of ovals too in the making. At line 2, I'm just basically going to cut straight across. That's going to be the top part of his visor, and then I'm just going to sort of go between 2 and 3 and draw pretty much a straight line, and there is his visor. For details, I'm just going to go in and add some trim along the collar. I'm going to try and stay very close to the line that I drew before and just follow the same line. Now we're going to start out with the chest, and on line 5 I'm going to draw 2 little dots just outside our midline and then draw straight lines across on line 5, and going down about halfway between lines 5 and 6 I'm going to draw another little dot on both sides, and then just draw a straight line up to the end of the line that we just drew, and that's going to give Michael his broad chest armor. And for the shoulder pads, we're going to sort of follow the shape that we had, and we're going to sort of trace along the inside a little bit further in, and we're going to sort of disappear around the top because of the perspective. And the same for the arm gauntlet. I'm going to just add a little trim here, following the upper gauntlet that we drew before and disappearing around the top on both sides. So there we go. And for the knee pads, we're going to just draw small little ovals or egg shapes inside where we had our knee pad before, and around the calf, let's go ahead and add, a little more trim. Never hurts. Now we're going to go up to line 6, and halfway between 6 and 7, we're going to draw a line to start out his stomach armor. And we're going to keep on drawing little segments just down like that. They overlap, so I don't have to draw a top line, just the bottom. And here we'll have a third one, and we might as well finish it out with the fourth one. So there we're going to have trim as well. It's nice little details like this that make the angels look the way that they do. So there's his stomach armor. From here we're going to draw some wrinkles in the pants, and this is just kind of the trick. Anywhere where we had these little darts that we put in before, just draw a couple little squiggle lines on the inside. Don't go too crazy, and there's no right or wrong way to draw a wrinkle. And here where his legs are, his legs come together, we're going to draw a couple little wrinkles, and right where the pants meet the boots where they're scrunched in, let's draw a couple more little wrinkles. Again, not too far, not too crazy, just a little bit right there. And you may find that there's lots of different ways to draw wrinkles, and we'll just sort of take it easy here. And there you've got pant wrinkles. Now to draw the emblem, we're going to draw a straight line across at line 4. And then halfway between 4 and 5, we're going to draw a little bit of a dart here. Real tiny, not all the way up to meet our line. And then from there, at the edge of our dart, we're going to draw sort of a curve that meets our line up at line 4. And we're going to sort of ease those on on both sides. And then to finish it out, we draw a little circle that's touching our top line, just like that. And there's your Angel Wars emblem. Now, you may want to go ahead and color in your character. We took a stab at it right here. You can color him any color you want. He's your angel, and have fun with it.
All right, you artists out there. Now that you've heard from Dan, we want to see what you can do.
Place this DVD in your computer to download even more tips on how you can create your very own guardian angel.
With wings.
Once you've created your masterpiece, go to www.angelwars.com to learn how you can enter your original artwork to win cool gifts and prizes,
including the chance to have your artwork featured on the next Angel Wars DVD release.
So good luck.
And get drawing. Until next time.